thank you for attending today. Today is the first of our interviews with the thought leaders that participated in our annual Agency New Business Thought Leader Survey. We recently completed our second annual survey. My name is Mark Sneider. I'm owner and president of RSWS, and 6 industry thought leaders posed questions across a variety of industry trends for agencies to answer, and we had over 260 marketing agency principals respond to our survey, which was great.
Right.
One of the thought leader panelists is with us here today, Mark OBrien. Mark is CEO of Newfangled, a digital lead development agency company that works with independent agencies throughout North America to build lead development web platforms with a focus on marketing automation and CRM systems. Mark is also the author of A Website That Works, How Marketing Agencies Can Create Business-Generating Websites. And we're talking with Mark today about the questions he provided for the Thought Leader Survey. And a lot of his questions focused on marketing automation. And so, Mark, really appreciate you taking the time on a Friday afternoon to spend a little time with me talking about the survey and some of the feedback that we got from the agencies.
Absolutely. Glad to be here. Yeah.
Great.
Opportunity.
So let me go ahead and start with, let's see, my first question. We asked a question about marketing automation platforms and whether or not people actually have them and are using them. We had 65% of respondents of the agencies stating that they currently are not using marketing automation platforms to market their own business. And,
right.
and just from your standpoint, kind of what's your perspective? What do you think is holding back marketing agencies from using marketing automation platforms to a greater degree?
Yeah, actually I was quite surprised to see that number be that high, meaning so few are using automation. What we typically see is that agencies have automation but don't use it. And it looked like from the report that they don't even have it. 65% don't even have it.
Right.
What we know is that the 35 who do have it, right, assuming everyone else does have an automation platform, that very few of those are actually using it, right?
Right, absolutely. Yeah, we saw that, and it seems that like there's just those that are using it, there's an underutilization, they feel, of marketing automation. What do you think is the root cause of underutilization? Is it a lack of understanding of how to use it, or I know like my cell phone, I'm probably way underutilizing all of the features on my cell phone, and I think you referenced the gym membership.
Yes.
In your statement, that you join the gym and you rarely use it. Why do you think agencies are underutilizing marketing automation if they do indeed have it as part of their program?
Well, I think it's because of 2 primary reasons. One reason is that the nature of agencies and the optimistic nature of those entrepreneurial organizations. So that's one thing, that the search for a silver bullet is one reason. The second reason for underutilization is that the way automation platforms are sold is not really accurate.
Okay.
So let's look at these 2 things. One, agencies are looking for a silver bullet. They abhor marketing themselves. They won't say it, but their actions say it very clearly. They cannot market themselves. They are the smartest marketing minds on the planet, right? We know that.
Right. Yep.
This is how they make a living. If they weren't, they wouldn't be in business.
Sure.
But they are incapable of turning all of that wonderful expertise inward. They can't.
Okay.
They can't allow themselves to benefit from their own marketing expertise for whatever reason. Right, but it's a law of the universe. We see this again and again and again. Right, they really know their stuff, but they just can't apply it to themselves. And so because of that, they're always looking for the answer. We do this one thing. We'll do this one thing. And I'm sure you've seen it all the time with RSW. It used to be the rainmaker, and we're just going to get the right biz dev person.
Right. With the great Rolodex.
Yeah, they're going to get that one, and everything's going to be wonderful. And in your 2014 marketer business report, marketer client report, that I reference all the time, as you know, we've discussed this. It talks all about that they're always looking for, the right business developer. The average business developer lasts less than 2 years. 74% of agencies say they're unhappy with their business development person, right? Because they're putting too much on that person. They're not putting that person in a position to succeed. They have inaccurate expectations. The same is true when it comes to automation. They think this tool is going to fix everything. Part of the reason they think the tool is going to fix everything is because some of these tools, the way they're sold, they kind of say they're going to fix everything. They say, oh, this stuff's really easy. Just set it up, watch some videos, and it's like riding a bike. And look at all these reports, look at all this functionality. And the people who sell these tools, they say, look at this. How could this not help your agency? How could you not be in a better spot by using this? And the agency owner, who, one, is an optimist, and two, is looking for a silver bullet solution, they really want to believe this is the answer. And the person selling the automation platform asks them, well, how could this not help you? Look at this amazing stuff. Don't you agree this is amazing? Surely this will help you. And the agency principal, or whoever is making the decision, says, oh, yeah, that's going to help us. That's going to be great. There was a great article, actually, just this weekend in the New York Times about the con man, the confidence man, and how all of us are susceptible to the con man because we all want to believe. It's in our nature. And this plays into this. Not at all that marketing automation providers are con men. That's not at all the point. That's not the truth, right? But this need that we want an answer, we want a solution, we want to believe that this thing's going to do it. And the truth is that, this tool can do it, but not by itself.
Is it a function of having or making enough time to do it right, or is it what do you think's holding people back from either using it, or if they haven't, fully optimizing the use of it? Because we've tried for our agency search business some marketing automation platforms, and they can be really good, but they can also be really time-consuming, and you really have to dedicate yourself to it.
Right.
Do you think that is partly a function of it, or?
Absolutely. I think that agencies aren't prepared for exactly how complicated this stuff really is. And that's really the bottom line. It's not easy. And I mentioned that in the bit I put in, the narrative I put in, to that report is, as soon as a salesperson tells you it's going to be easy, hang up, because it will absolutely not be easy. It can be incredibly effective, but under no circumstances is it easy. And so, this desire for the silver bullet, just do this and it'll be okay, hire the right salesperson, it'll be okay. No, it's not that easy. Get the right automation system, it'll be okay. No, it's not that easy. So the tools are amazing. I know the power we all have at our disposal now. This is what Fortune 500 companies were dreaming of 12 years ago. They were loved 12 years ago, as recently as 12 years ago, to have this power, the power that all of us have now, because these tools are affordable. But they're incredibly powerful, but they're incredibly complex, and it takes someone really digging in deep. And oftentimes, it takes outside assistance. It takes a human, actual human, who's invested long term.
You've talked, read some articles referencing lead development ecosystems that you create for your clients, and so a question about sort of the components of that. I mean, you help agencies sort of figure out how to get all that done, and what are those? I guess if you had to define, whatever top 2, 3 sort of key things that an agency needs to do in order to be effective, what would you say they are, or what are the components of an effective lead development ecosystem, in your opinion?
Sure. So, what we've observed, we've been doing this 20 years, and this is all based on observation. We're an independent entrepreneurial company, just like the agencies we serve. We have the freedom to do whatever we really want to, and we want to do what works. And what we've observed works over the years is this ecosystem that's comprised of 6 parts. The first part and the most fundamental, non-negotiable element is a sharp market position. They need to be experts. and true deep experts. And again, your report from 2014 talks about this. And all the marketers you interviewed said, we want this. We want agencies that have clearly defined and differentiating expertise sets. We want them to know more about our industry than we do. We want relative KPIs. You know, your report nails it. It really does. And so that has to be there. If that layer's not there, forget about it. And in this report, what I noticed, the responses that you got, one, reading between the lines, what I see is that agencies are still delusional about their understanding of positioning. And you mentioned this in the report that, you know, a certain percentage said they were positioned, but you said we typically find that the ones who say they're positioned really oftentimes aren't, right? You know, I just spoke at the Mirror and CEO Summit in Chicago about 6 weeks ago.
Nice.
And with Dave Curry from the list, and it was a lot of fun, great conference. And whenever I speak to those groups, I always do a test. I go through all the websites and ask about, well, you know, on my own, figure out who's actually positioned based on what they state on their homepage. It's very clear. It's an easy yes or no answer. And then I always ask the question in the room, and inevitably, you know, 80% of the hands will go up when 2% of the room is actually positioned, right? So anyway, the foundation of the ecosystem is positioning. Then once that's in place, then it's about the fuel, and the fuel is the correct quantity and quality of contacts and content. So content that is written by the agency that is all about this expertise, solely about the overlap between what the agency knows and what the prospect buying, what the prospect pain points are. And then the right contacts, enough of a list so that, you know, you have a right reach through your target market based on your expertise. So we've got positioning, then content, then contacts, and only then can you get any benefit from the actual tools, which are three: the website, the automation system, and the CRM. A lot of firms have the tools because the tools are easy to buy. The tools are easy, but they don't have the foundation that actually lets you get something out of those tools. And so website, CRM, automation, content, contacts, positioning. Those are the 6 elements that, when combined properly, are incredibly powerful. And we've seen that time and time and time again. That's the recipe.
Is there a difference in how an agency needs to think about those tools and how they use them relative to the clients that they represent? I mean, is there fundamentally sort of, do they need to be managing them any differently, or you know, is the way they create messaging platforms different than what they might do for, you know, their B2B or B2C client if they're using those same platforms for them?
Okay, that's a great question. So what you're asking is the way that agency use these tools and theories to market themselves different than how they're bringing these same assets to bear for their clients? Is that the question?
Yes.
Yeah, the answer is no, there's not a difference. Okay? That structure and those theories apply just as well to the agency as it does to the clients, which is why one thing we encourage agencies to do is to use the tools your clients can use. You know, agencies are usually working with businesses much bigger than themselves, right? You don't have a $10 million a year agency selling to a $10 million a year organization. You have a $10 million a year agency selling to a $1 or $2 billion a year organization.
Right.
In these tools, they're all on the same basic price set. The difference between Acton and Marketo isn't that far, right? You know, Salesforce is affordable for everybody. Microsoft Dynamics is affordable for everybody. And so we think that the agency marketing is about 2 things. It's about generating better opportunity for the agency, and it's also about training, about learning how these tools actually work so that you can bring them to bear for your clients as well. So we strongly encourage agencies to use the tools that their clients at least could use.
Couple of questions. One, you know, I know, I mean, we work with, you know, lots of agencies. We've got 50 plus clients, and you know, the reason they hire us is because they can't manage the process of new business development on their own.
Right.
So whether that's, you know, proactive outreach or creating systems like CRM and marketing automation and tying that all into an effective, you know, web presence. Is there a structure that you most often recommend to agencies to help them effectively manage that? Because it is obviously a time-consuming effort. Or I mean, is it a one size fits all, or do different agencies require sort of different approaches?
Yeah, different agencies definitely require different approaches, and it has a lot to do with not the size of the agency, not the national or international reach of the agency, but how they prioritize marketing and how many true experts they have in-house. Those are the things that really dictate it. We've got agencies that are 3 people deep, like 3 total employees, who market circles around agencies with 300 people.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't
just kick their butts up, down, left, and right, and they're extraordinary marketers, and they prioritize it. And so it has nothing to do with how big or small you are. And we have plenty of clients who are big and market really well too. It's not as if the smaller ones market better at all. I'm just saying it has nothing to do with size. And so, yeah, we have a similar. We have 60 agencies that we manage, automation for and things like that right now. So almost the exact same size. Probably, if you looked at the numbers, they might even be the exact same. And so, like you, we're exposed to a pretty broad array of agencies all over North America, and different sizes, different specialties, that kind of thing. And it is different every single time. We've not found that we can just take, okay, here's the plan, go read it, and let's check back in a week. It's not like that. It's.
Do you? I'm just curious with your program. Do you find yourself having to sort of kick these agencies in the butt to keep them going and keep them managing?
Well, yeah. So what we've learned over time is, referencing something I mentioned earlier, it really comes down to the human touch. We can't just give them a system and let them go. We've got to really work with them. And what we found is that the closer we work with them, the more success they have. And it's our obligation to figure out what is the most efficient use of our time with them. How can they pay the least and get the most? And it really comes down to the content. Making sure that they've got the right guidance and coaching on this content, because that's the hardest part of it. You can buy the contacts, you can buy the tools, but the content, that's what's really difficult. And with Newfangled, one of the greatest growth areas in the firm over the past few years has been content services, helping them create better content on a more reliable basis and maximizing that content and understanding actually how it's performing. And so it's funny, it's back to the beginning again, back to basics, content, but it's really the truth. Hasn't gotten old, hasn't gone away. It's still, it's what divides the experts from the followers.
Yeah, definitely. How, one of the responses we asked agencies, if you've not considered a marketing automation platform, why not? And there's a perception that they're too costly, and they may be for some agencies.
Sure.
There's a perception that it's too time consuming to manage, and probably if you're going in with that mindset, it will be time consuming. But the largest percentage of folks said that it's too automated for agency new business. Speak to that. How do you react to sort of that perception among agencies that marketing automation is just simply too automated a process for what they're trying to achieve?
Yeah, so all 3 of those things. It's too costly, it takes too much time, it's too automated. The first 2, if it costs too much or takes too much time, it's simply a matter of you not prioritizing it, right? And that's it. We do the things we want to do, right, as humans, all of us. If we don't have time for something, it's because we actually don't really feel like doing that thing, and we say we don't have enough time. It's not about time, it's about care and interest and priorities, right? And agencies, we know, habitually deprioritize their own marketing. It's simply not worth it. But what's funny is that they spend tons of time on sales and very little time on marketing, and if they just rework that equation a little bit, they would probably spend a whole lot less time overall, right? But marketing's hard. It takes discipline, and that's difficult stuff, right? And so that's that. But in terms of it being too automated, that shows that they really don't understand what this is about. Okay. They hear the word automation and they think it's about spamming everybody or something like that. It's not. The mantra of marketing automation is the right message to the right person at the right time. And automation, I look at it as more of a traffic manager almost. It's the interface between the website and the CRM. It's merging those things. It's watching who's active on the CRM side, where these lists are coming in from, segmenting them properly based on interest, need, and stage in the buying cycle, watching how people are behaving on the website, presenting them with the right things at the right time. So if they've already signed up for the blog, we're not going to ask them to do that again. We're going to show them the white paper or the webinar or something else, just the next thing. We're not going to shove it down the throats. We're just going to say, hey, here's this thing. If you're interested, take part in it. Great. And after they sign up for the webinar, we're going to wait a month and we're going to follow up and see how the webinar went. Or if we have a white paper that is on the same topic as the webinar, we're going to let those attendees know about that, right? And that's just good service. And so we look at marketing automation as a way of doing the things we wouldn't otherwise have the time to do in a very intentional but responsible way. So when people say it's too automated, what they're really saying is, I don't really have any idea what this thing's about.
Yep. No, I'm sure you're probably right. They're probably thinking, more spammy stuff and,
right.
Stuff that they probably get in their mailbox from real spammers,
Right. Right. But you've got to be careful. And this tool is very powerful, and with that power does come a lot of responsibility. It's complicated, it's nuanced. You got to be careful.
Yep, definitely. Well, let me just kind of close it out here. You provided one piece of advice for agencies and in their agency new business program. Maybe you wouldn't mind just sort of articulating. You alluded to it a little bit earlier. Maybe just articulate sort of that. If you could just tell the agencies that are watching this, one thing to help them down the line in improving their agency new business program. What would that be?
Yeah. Well, assuming you're able to market yourselves, right? Which is based on one thing, positioning. If you're not well positioned, you are not able to market yourself, and you really shouldn't even start. Is my perspective. It's hard to sell something that's wholly undifferentiated.
Right.
And the funny thing is that this is what these agencies say to every single one of their clients, right?
Yep.
But they think they can get away with it for some reason, right? So assuming you are able to market yourself, we do believe from lots of experience that it's easier to market than it is to sell, right? If you market hard, selling can be a lot easier and should be a lot easier. A recent stat that Dave Curry put out from the list was 80% of investment in marketing, 20% of investment in sales. But for most agencies, it's the inverse. It's 20% of marketing when they have time, kind of, sort of, and then chasing all the RFPs everywhere, right? Which is expensive. But when you think about your marketing, it's about focus, right? It's about really taking this seriously. It's about allowing yourself to be the beneficiary of all your great expertise. And it's about keeping the eye on the ball. You mentioned getting distracted by RFPs coming in and that kind of stuff. It's just really easy to happen. It goes away. You want to create a marketing plan, stick to it, but understand that it's never been easier to market yourself, but it's never been more complex, and it's not getting any easier. It's not gonna get any. Well, I'm sorry, it's not getting any more simple. Like the things we can do with these tools are so powerful. The scale at which we can deploy these messages that are customized to tens of thousands of people once we wanted to. Not that most agencies would or should, but the things you can do. It's never been easier to do those things, but it's very, very, very complicated. And you've got to dig deep. You've got to take time to really think about this stuff. Prioritize your marketing. Keep your eye on the ball, and know that a quick service isn't going to do it. There's no silver bullet. No automation tool is going to make this easy. No CRM is going to make it easy. Nothing's going to make it easy. It's hard work, but it's entirely possible, more than ever, to create an incredibly effective marketing program that does regularly generate highly qualified leads. This exists. It is entirely possible, but it's very, very difficult. The thing is, the effective solution, no matter how hard it is, will always be easier than the sum of all the ineffective solutions. And agencies are masters of chasing ineffective solutions.
Well, this has been great, Mark. I really appreciate the time that you set aside on this Friday afternoon, and you've given us some great things to think about. Agencies, giving them great things to think about as it relates to their marketing efforts, and believe in everything you're saying here. I mean, it just having lived in the industry, probably equally as long as you have and seen, as many firms as you have. It is a little baffling at times as to how agencies can be so good at helping their own clients and be challenged, I'll say it diplomatically, challenged at managing their own world. So I think the advice you've given here today has been great, and I'm sure it will really benefit a lot of firms. So again, Mark is CEO of Newfangled, a digital lead development company that works with independent agencies throughout North America to build lead development web platforms with a focus on marketing automation and CRM systems. And Mark, really want to thank you. If you want to tell us how we can get a hold of you, what your URL is or contact info, would be great.
Sure. So yeah, the URL is newfangled.com. I'm Mark, M-A-R-K, at newfangled.com. And I just wanted to mention, this report is great, and you guys put so much excellent, true thought leadership material out there, and you invest a lot of time and energy in it. I'm very proud to be part of this report, and I just really admire the work you guys do, and I consider the two of us to be pretty lucky guys. There are no better clients in the world than agencies. I love that I and everyone else here and everyone at your organization, we get to wake up and help these people who do have a hard time helping themselves. That's why we're in business, right? But gosh, they're amazing people to work with and for.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, definitely. It's a good place to be playing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Mark. I really enjoyed this.